I am so excited to do this video because when I was injured, all I did was just research people who had knee injuries, who made it back. So I guess this is finally my turn to tell you my story. So this video is going to be about my injury and kind of like what I did the first couple of weeks after my ACL surgery. I'm a professional wakeboarder, and I injured myself when I was out training in the Philippines. And it was one of those days where I didn't plan to ride. I had planned to take a rest day, but then I went out to the park and the weather was amazing. So I decided I'll just do 10 minutes, nothing hard, just the same tricks that I normally do. And I went out, and on one of those tricks, I ended up having a really bad landing, and I instantly felt how my knee went a direction it's not supposed to go. I felt this kind of push in my in the back of my knee, and I got nauseous, and I could just hear myself scream. So they ended up shutting down the whole park. I had probably 10 people swimming out to help me get my board off and swim me back into shore. But when I got to shore, it wasn't really hurting that much anymore, and I could even put a little bit of weight on it. And on the next day, I could even walk on my knee. I was pretty excited at that point. I was like, whew, that was so lucky. I even remember saying this, if I tore my ACL, I don't know if I would keep wakeboarding. Because I have had so many friends who tore their ACL, and it just seems like the worst rehab and so much time. But since I could walk on my knee now, and it just hurt a little bit when it was in weird angles, and I had this constant pain on the outside of my knee. But besides that, it was pretty good. So I kept I borrowed one of my friend's knee braces and kept riding for the time. I think it was 3 weeks that I was still there. And then I went home to Sweden and got an MRI, and could not believe my eyes when I opened the envelope and saw complete tear of the ACL. I remember the room shrinking, and I couldn't breathe, and I just started crying, and it was one of the worst moments of my life, because I could just see how all the hard work I put in just went right out the window, and now I wasn't gonna be able to wakeboard for probably a year. So that was a really, really, really low point for me. Tears in both meniscus, partial or complete ACL rupture, cracked tibia, a crack in my femur, and a crack in the cartilage of my kneecap. And I had been walking around, running around, and wakeboarding with this knee. The doctors were super surprised. My doctor actually looked over my pictures and saw that maybe my ACL wasn't completely torn, maybe just partial. And he was not sure if he wanted to reconstruct it straight away, so I had a surgery in April. I woke up after the surgery looking down on my knee and noticing that I didn't have a huge scar, just tiny ones from the scope surgery. So for a second I was really excited, oh yay, my ACL is probably pretty good, there's a lot of it left. But then my doctor came in and told me that my ACL is basically completely gone, and we're gonna have to schedule another surgery. So I had another surgery in another month, and I had my complete ACL reconstruction. I was kind of nervous for my surgery because I've never had a major surgery before. So I went in with my mom and got into the gown and everything, and had to wait, and then got down to the surgery room and got my anesthesia. I remember nothing. And then I woke up, and I was in a little bit of pain. I could feel my knee throbbing, but I heard so many stories about how much it hurts to get ACL surgery, so I was just prepared for way worse. So for me, it wasn't that bad. And I woke up, and I could hear myself moaning, and a nurse came and just asked me if I wanted more painkillers, and I said yeah, and then she just put it in there, and it was fine. But then I'm super sensitive to painkillers, so I ended up staying in the hospital overnight, because every time I tried to stand up, the blood would just rush from my head, and I would barely, I almost fainted, and I felt so nauseous all day, and I just slept all day pretty much the same day of surgery, and then slept overnight, and then woke up in the morning and felt way better, had some breakfast, and went home. So not all people have to stay overnight. I did because my doctor wanted me to as well. I think just because I reacted so hard on the anesthesia. But then I came home and immediately started doing my physio exercises. I got like a paper with like 3 or 4 exercises, basically just to keep the blood flow, keep my knee moving. And also the best tips that I got through this whole incident was from my doctor. And I quote, "Do not put a fucking pillow under your knee." Like, the hardest part for me, or not the hardest, but the part that hurt the worst after surgery was trying to keep my knee straight. So all I wanted to do was to put a pillow under there to give it like a nice little kink. But since my doctor told me don't do it, I forced myself, and I had like painkillers, like strong morphine pills for the first. I only needed them for like 3 days after. But I forced myself to keep my knee straight, even when I was sleeping. That made the whole difference. Because I've heard a lot of physios tell me that it can take people up to months to get their knee straight. Or some people never do after ACL surgery. And it's crucial that first couple of days to just try and get it straight. Like, people focus so much on the bend, but just try to get it straight. Because when it's straight, all your muscles can start working the way they're supposed to. For the first, 2 days, I just slept on the couch, did my little blood circulation, just bending and straightening exercises. I had one of those tense machines, so I would try and keep my muscles activated, because apparently if you don't activate your muscles, they deteriorate super fast. And then I think it was on day 8 or something, my boyfriend decided that it was time for me to try and ride a bike outside, which my physio did not recommend, so I don't know if it's good or not, but for me and my heart, it just made me so happy to be able to get my leg around one of those pedals. Might have not have been day 8 when I think about it. Might have been day 12. Because I remember in the beginning, I could not bend my knee more than a couple degrees. It was super stiff. I think in Sweden, after 2 days, after 2 weeks, we get our stitches out. So I had my stitches on for a long time, and I didn't even look underneath the Band-Aid. And I went to the doctor and got my stitches out and got a little checkup, and he was really, really pumped on how well I was bending and straightening my knee. But that was my first 2 weeks after surgery. If you want me to do another video on the rest of my recovery, please comment what you would like to see. I'm probably going to do one anyways, even if no one watches it, because I remember how much I liked to watch these videos when I was hurt. So I'm gonna keep doing it anyway. But yeah, please let me know and subscribe if you want me to do something in particular about ACL surgery or the rehab. I recovered for 14 months in total. I had a complication, had to have another surgery. Also, I just want to say that this video is completely my experience. I might not be right, or it might not be right for you, or you might want to listen to someone else, or probably listen to your doctor, listen to your physiotherapist. But yeah, this is what I went through, and maybe it's some sort of comfort of what you can expect. Also, to finish up, I am now fully back competing in wakeboarding again, and I just did a test a couple weeks ago, and my knee is the exact same strength, exact same motion, exact same size as my other knee. So there's hope. Hang in there, and good luck with your ACL surgery. Bye.